All right, let's look at the scene at Fort Bragg for a second here. This we will defend. You see across the top of the screen there, the 250th anniversary underway of the United States Army. We're going to hear from President Trump in just a minute. He's watching a demonstration there. But this, of course, plays out as he and Governor Gavin Newsom in California lash out at each other over the riots in Los Angeles. Newsom asking a judge to limit the use of U.S. troops that the president deployed. The president says that they'll stay until it's safe for the people of Los Angeles for them to leave, and telling Newsom to, quote, do a better job.
He's doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave him a little additional help, you would have Los Angeles would be burning right now.
This chaos is manufactured, and it's my job as governor, working with local law enforcement, to clean up their mess.
So with that, we bring in Kellyanne Conway, former senior counselor to President Trump, now president of KA Consulting and a Fox News contributor, and Tim Ryan, former Ohio Democratic congressman. Great to have both of you with us. You know, the interesting thing that I wonder if Gavin Newsom has lost touch with is the businesses and operators of companies in Los Angeles, in the city of Los Angeles, many of whom are immigrants themselves, here legally, who want protection for the streets. They want to be able to have their businesses function. And I think that we've seen the movement in the polls of immigrants in this country, recent immigrants to the country, siding with law and order. Watch this from Harry Enton on CNN this morning.
You go back to 2020, Democrats, get this, held a 32-point lead on this issue. Immigrant voters were in the Democratic camp. Jump forward to 2024, 2025. Look at that shift, a 40-point shift to the right among immigrant voters. A group of voters who became more hawkish on immigration were, in fact, immigrants themselves.
Yeah. So, Tim, politically, when you look at this, a 40-point swing in, recent immigrant voters to the Republican Party, and you look at what's happening, and you see Maxine Waters and others, it sounds like they're on the side of the people who are creating chaos in the city, rather than the business owners and the residents and the families who live there.
Well, first, I think that number reflects President Biden's complete abdication of the immigration issue, the border issue, doing whatever you have to do to make sure that we don't have an influx of people that we don't know who they are coming in the country, having comprehensive immigration reform, knowing who's here, all of that good stuff. That's what that number ultimately reflects. Now, the current situation is, I think there's a lot of blame to go around. First of all, we all want criminals out of the country. If you're here illegally and you're a criminal, you should be out. And there's a way to do that. And President Trump does it in a way. People who are in unmarked cars, they're not wearing the proper gear, they're going into schools, they're scaring the crap out of people in these communities. So the people are very riled up. Again, those people need to be out of the country. Now, for Governor Newsom's side, take care of business. Take care of your city. This is the same thing we saw with the fires.
He'd rather go after President Trump than go after these looters. Looting is so appalling. I mean, breaking through these windows.
Tolerance.
But I don't know why Gavin Newsom, every time he goes on TV, same thing with the fires. He's blaming President Trump rather than dealing with it himself. Kellyanne, we know that the polling shows 66% of people in this country want people who are here illegally to be removed from the country, not just criminals, people who are here illegally. Explain what you see happening right now.
Martha, that's a huge turnaround from 10 years ago next week when Donald Trump came down that escalator for the first time and talked about border security and illegal immigration to international derision, ridicule, and rejection. Now it's a mainstream issue, and he's got the public on his side because of what you're showing. We have 2 eyes and 2 ears that function properly, and we know what we see. And now you've got Democrats denying what we all see. They're calling this peaceful protesting. This is hurting the hardworking men and women, legal immigrants, California-born, whoever they are. But look, this is a Gavin Newsom who's presiding over the largest exodus out of his state already of people who live there. Businesses are leaving, individuals are leaving. They don't like these issues and the way they're being handled to begin with. And Martha, I don't understand why every time any Democrat anywhere is asked a question about where they stand on an issue or what they will do as its leader, Trump, Trump, Trump. They sound like one of those wind-up dolls that can only say one word with the battery stuck. Shift the gear. People respect law enforcement. And we have a very recent example of this. When Gavin Newsom couldn't get the job done on the fires, President and Mrs. Trump flew to California. He stared down Mayor Bass, who also was doing a terrible job, and he got the job done. I think that's what you're seeing here. Sarah, respectfully, Tim Ryan, you called these peaceful protests in Minnesota in 2020. They were nothing of the sort. You did have the courage at the time to say that people should not be throwing bricks and rocks and other things at law enforcement officers. Thank you for saying that. Please say it again. But your party's not saying that. They're standing up for this Maryland dad gangbanger trafficker. They're standing up for the people waving the Mexican flag and burning the American flag. It's terrible.
Thanks, you guys, very much. Great to have both of you with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.